In today's video, I'll be covering lesson 8 of the fourth grade book entitled Staff Management. In the first task, we are asked to complete with a number of words that are related to employment. I've jotted down some words and expressions that are related to employment that I will be attaching to this video. You can find the download link in the description box of this video. So the lesson is entitled Staff Management. By staff, we mean the number of workers who work together in one place or in one company or in one business. And management, by management, let's add that to the list. Management is and comes from the word to manage a situation or a company, to be responsible for the business, and from there comes the word management, as in what you're supposed to be, what is supposed to be your section and what you are supposed to be specialized in economics and management. So to manage is, let's say, to manage a firm or a company, and the noun is management. Let's see the dictionary definition for that word. It goes the process of dealing with or controlling things or people. By things here, we're referring to administration. As you can see, we're referring to mainly a business. So some of these words are to employ someone, that is to hire someone, and the opposite is to fire someone or to sack someone, to tell them to leave and never come back. And the opposite, if you're starting a company and you cannot work on your own, so you need some workers or employees, that is from employment. The opposite is unemployment or joblessness, when many people in a certain community do not have jobs. If a person does not have a job, you can call him jobless or unemployed. By position, we mean the exact job in one firm or company. A factory is the place where things are made, which is different from a company. In factories, people manufacture goods and make products through an industrial process. To apply for a job, this is a keyword that will be important in the next lesson, lesson 9. Either you apply for a job by phone or email, but these days many people send emails to apply for a job. They used to send job application letters, which, by the way, may be one of the type of letters that can be included in an exam. So it'd be you should cast a look at lesson 9 and be prepared for an essay that asks you to send a letter to apply for a job. They might give you a job ad and ask you to write a letter to that employee or that firm, asking them to consider your application for that job. A salary or a wage, I believe that a wage is a weekly salary in some places, some countries. If you are old and you cannot go to work anymore, you need to retire. The noun is retirement. We add ment to many words to get the noun, as in development, requirement, in other words. You may also ask for a leave. As you can see here, we have a, which is an article, after which we usually find a noun. Most of the time, of course, you can find only an adjective in between. So that is a temporary holiday. For example, a 1 week leave. So management and manage. So back to the following spirogram. So here we have, in the second task, we are asked to put the words under the appropriate headings. Working hours, hard times for a company, for example, and career ladder. By ladder is the thing we need to go upstairs or to go um, up a house. So by dismissed is asked to go home and um, leave. So this goes under hard times. A 9 to 5 job, of course, is related to working hours. In most Western countries, work starts at 9 a.m. and finishes at 5 p.m. So that is why it is called a 9 to 5 job. Usually, we're talking here about white collar jobs. These are people who wear suits and go usually to office work. Training goes under career ladder. So if you want to get a better job inside that very company or inside another company, you need to do some training from time to time to get your skills updated or to learn something new. A pay rise so is related to career ladder. If you get a better job, you get a pay rise, a better salary. Work overtime. By overtime, we have over in many words, which means more than what is the norm. So overcrowded, overpopulation, and here we have overtime to work when more time than usual. To be sacked, as we've seen the word sack, to sack someone, to fire someone, to tell them to leave, maybe permanently. And I think that goes under hard times. Many companies, especially these days, if you're following the news, if they have problems, financial problems, the first thing they do is they sack many of the workers um, to find a way uh, to save money and raise funds. Prospects. Um, Here we're talking about the future for you have and the paths you may have in the future, your plans and the possibilities that you may have in your job. Shift work, so you may have a shift. You may have heard that in many movies, not in my shift. So your shift is the time you work, for example, from 8 to 12. That is your shift, and then you go home. So that goes under working hours, of course. Prospects under career ladder. Redundant is a word that means not or no longer needed or useful, that is superfluous. By that we mean, imagine they have too many secretaries, for example, so they tell one of them that they are redundant, so they no longer need them, and they ask them to leave. Promoted, getting a better job, so that goes under career ladder, and out of work is related to hard times. So those who are sacked, they'll find that they no longer have a position, so they are out of work and they need to look for another job and start sending job application letters or emails. Here we have a text in here. I'm reading it quickly, and you may follow in your books and underline some keywords. Some companies seem to be keen on. To be keen on, we mean they are interested in, they are serious about, they like to do this. We usually find a verb in the ing form after that, to be keen on doing something. On going green, by going green we mean by going eco-friendly, by respecting nature and the environment. Then here we have a comparison. Then they are on their employees, so they are keener, which is the comparative here. We're making a comparison between some companies that are keen on going green and eco-friendly, but they are not keen as much about their employees. A survey is asking people about their opinion by management consultancy from the word consult, to ask people to give people opinion that is useful to them, by the management consultancy Hudson found that 3/4, that is 75% of executives are people who are usually managers or directors in some companies, would not hesitate. They would not think twice about firing employees to boost productivity. To boost is to make something better, productivity and performance. 1 in 6 think they could get rid of something or someone, that is to ditch them, and um, when you no longer need them. They get rid of 20% of employees without damaging performance or morale. Nearly half by reckon I mean they believe or think, firing up to 5% a year, every year, would be a good thing. Even though only 4% actually carry out this threat of sacking many employees, it is still, here is an adverb still with which we usually use the present simple, as is the case here, a revealing finding. This is what executives really think of their most valued asset. What, in your opinion, is the most valued asset? Surely that is their employees. This is how they think of them. Not only that, we can use that as a linker of addition. Not only that, they totally ignore their own contribution to their employees. By utterly, we mean completely and without qualification, absolutely. Which is an adverb, of course. You'll find an adverb as a synonym. They utterly ignore their own contribution to their employees' underperformance. So if there is any underperformance, the boss is part of that, and may be a cause of this underperformance. So they utterly ignore their own contribution to their employees' underperformance, raising so many questions. It is hard to know where to begin. Um, only 30 Only 38% of employees feel managers and directors treat them with respect. That is a very low percentage. And 66% don't trust them. Um, Employees not trusting their directors and managers. Around a quarter, that is 25%, of employees rarely or never look forward to going to work, to look forward to doing something. That is when you are very keen on something and you are fond of something, so you're waiting the next day to go and do it. They never look forward to going to work, and almost half are leaving or trying to leave. Researchers suggest many managers aren't doing enough to keep their staff interested. They're not doing anything. The result, underperformance and low productivity. A UK survey showed that in 2005, just 16% of UK employees were positively engaged, loyal, and committed to the organization. Only 16% of UK employees were engaged, loyal, and committed to their companies or businesses. The rest were physically present but psychologically absent. This is the result of lack of interest because of the way they are treated in their companies. They express their disappointment. This is one of the main feelings by going sick. They say they are sick, that by not trying, leaving, or threatening to strike. A strike is when a number of employees, they choose not to work. They may go to the company, but together they decide not to work, to express their anger, or to demand some pay rise or better conditions. The culprit, by culprit we mean the person or thing that causes all this, says the survey, is poor management. By poor here, which is an adjective, of course, from poverty, it has nothing to do with money. But by poor, we can use this adjective to describe anything that is below average, that is not good enough, is poor management. Workers say they don't know what is expected of them. Managers don't care about them as people. Their jobs aren't a good fit for them, for their talents, and their views count for little. So to count is to be of importance. When you say that counts or something counts for you, you mean it is important for you, but the employees say that their views, their own opinions, they count for little. By that we mean they are um, um, they don't count. They're not important from the point of view of their um, directors and superiors. This was taken from the Observer, a magazine, on January 28th, 2007. So it is an article. Give a title to each paragraph. So in the first one, let me first find out where I am. Nope. Excuse that. Um, I'm trying to find what page I was doing. Yes. Give a title to each paragraph, and you can do that later. Fill in the matrix. So here we have a table in here with the characters. We have two types of characters here: the employees and the employers, or the workers and their directors. The problem is that um, the their the employees believe that are not being respected, um, and they are not being treated well by their directors. They do not listen to them. They do not respect them. So this creates some kind of um, bad atmosphere in the company, and as a result, work doesn't go well, and that is the cause. Um, so paraphrase the following sentence: their jobs aren't a good fit for them. To be fit for something, imagine you wear a suit or wear some piece of cloth that does not look good on you. So someone tells you that it doesn't fit you. So to fit something, to be good for it, to be suited to that thing, so it is suitable for you. But they say that their jobs aren't a good fit for their talents. So imagine being good at using computers at ICT, but you work as a plumber. So that job doesn't fit you, and it doesn't is not fit for your talents. And their views count for little, as we have explained earlier. This means that no one listens to them and their points of view. Their uh, so what does their refer to? Their jobs aren't a good fit for their talents. So he was talking about the workers, not the managers. So the attitudes of the managers, as we've seen, is negative. They look down on their employees. They do not respect them. So that is some sort of poor management. It affects the company, and creates a bad atmosphere that makes workers unhappy in their jobs, and as a result, their productivity drops. And whenever employees do not feel right, they do not feel well in their jobs, work will not go very well. So that's how they feel. They feel disrespected. They feel as not being treated well, and that is not good in any company. Moving on to the following. What do you think of the employer's attitude? What do you think of? You're asked about your own opinion of what they have been doing, and you can reply to that by, in my opinion, to my mind, I think that. By the way, think. I do not. I don't like the fact that many students spell think with a G. That is a totally different word, and has nothing to do with think with a K. I think you mean I believe. It has nothing to do with think. It is almost the same pronunciation, but this one, the verb from the word thought, is with a K, the other is with a G, and they are totally unrelated. What about the employee's attitude? Who, in your opinion, is to blame? To blame someone is to tell them that it is your problem, you caused this problem, it's your fault. So that is to blame someone. Who, in your opinion, is to blame for the situation described in the article? Personally, I believe the blame here is on the directors and the managers. Of course, based on this, the article we have seen and read earlier. They do not listen to their employees, they do not respect them, they may just sack them at any time for their own benefit. So they are to blame. They need to listen to their employees because they know more about the intricate details job of the job they are holding and maybe the company as a whole. What can be done to solve this problem? So that's what we have been talking about. They need to listen to their employees and not sack them whenever they feel like. So that creates a better environment inside the company and makes people or workers feel better, and as a result work better. Is the gentleman in the sharky waters, as we have here in this picture, a boss or an employee? How do you know? So if you say that he's a boss, sacking employees and disrespecting them creates dangerous environment in their own business, in their own company. So sharks here represent danger. So the danger here is that a company fails, in that by creating that atmosphere inside their own business, their own company, they are running a danger of being of failing their own uh, company, and as a result they may go bankrupt and have no more money. If you say that that is a worker, so workers, if the person in the picture is a worker, they are trying to work but in a very bad place with a lot of problems. The sharks here represent problems in the water. The water represents their company. So problems at work, being disrespected, being discarded, being sacked at any time. So that's what we mean by sharky waters. Sharky is an adjective from shark. Um, so that is an adjective not listed here. So it is a negative description of any place or thing. Moving on to lexical focus, find in paragraph 1 expressions meaning the following: concerned with protection of the environment. So that is, as we've seen earlier, being green or going green. That is the word we're looking for and trying to find. The other one is be interested in someone or something. That is to be keen on something. So be keen on plus verb ing. Back to task 2, words. Here we have words. Match the words with their synonyms and definition. So we got utterly. So it is an adverb. We can use and resort to grammar to find the meaning of, to find the synonyms for some words. So an adverb is a synonym of an adverb. A noun is a synonym of a noun. So let's start with this one. Utterly is completely. Strike is a noun, so it should be to go on strike, so it is a noun, but here we can use it also as a verb. To refuse to work as a protest for certain conditions. Culprit is a person or thing that causes a problem or a crime. This is a noun, so this is a noun. Assets, a noun in the plural form. We're looking at a valuable, useful persons or things. These little details can help you find the right answer in an exam. Noun in the plural form, noun in the plural form. Adverb, adverb. Staff is a noun. We talk about all the workers employed in an organization as a group. So that is why here you find a noun in the singular form, and this is maybe a noun in the plural form, but we're looking at it as a whole. All the workers as a group. To fire, so they added to here so that you know that it is a verb and it has nothing to do with fire that you use in the kitchen to cook. So to fire someone. So we're looking at a verb, so we need to find a verb here. That is to force someone to leave a job. Reckon, as in I reckon, is a verb that is to think and believe, and consider, and believe that something is this or that. To grammar focus, so we move on to grammar, and mainly we will use this example, this sentence as an example. They express their disappointment by going sick, not trying, leaving, or threatening to strike. So here you have commas in between, and or and in the end, in the last before the last expression. As we have noticed, here we have the same expression being repeated in the same form. Going, ing, trying, leaving, threatening. That is known as, this form is what we call, we have here a parallel structure. Parallel, P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L, a parallel structure. So the same form, you can correct that on your books too. Here we have the word same, the same form is used, so we have a parallel structure. In the following sentences, some parts are wrong, correct them. Whenever you have a parallel structure, just repeat the same structure, whatever it is. And if you have many of them, just add commas in between. And before the last one, just add and or depending on the sentence. Here we have some examples. Such reforms they help reduce poverty and to improve people's lives. So as you can see, this is the problem. So here we do not have to. We do not have to here before reduce, so we do not add to before improve. So the right answer is such reforms help reduce poverty and improve people's life. I like not only reading novels but also to watch films. So I like not only reading novels but also watching films without to and with an ing here. You know what he wants and thinks he expects from you. So the right expression should be, you know what he wants and what he expects from you. He said that he was overworked. Again, we have over here. He didn't sleep well and that he needed help. So it should be, he said that he was overworked. So that he worked longer than needed, for example. He didn't sleep well and he needed help. And then, apologize for that again. I'm not interested in getting good marks, but understanding the lessons. I'm not interested in getting good marks, but in understanding the lessons. Moving on to these. This is clearly here. Jane Eyre wants financial independence and finding love. So here you have a noun and then a noun group, and then another noun group. So get the idea. We've seen that already, by the way, in some previous lesson. Pronunciation will not be part of the back exam, so will not be covering that. By the way, we're talking about syllables, so any word should be divided into syllables. If we have a word that has more than one syllable, two or more, so we have one of them is stressed, as in, for example, project or project. So if you say project, you stress the first syllable, which is pro. If you stress the second, as in project, so it is a totally different word. So that proves the importance of stressed syllables in speaking clearly and in a more natural way, and to make yourself clear. If the word is very long, you may have more than one stressed syllable. I'm not going into that, just to make the video shorter. Speaking, what type of job would you like to do in the future? What would you like to be in the future? What is your dream job? What do you dream to be? So such questions would be answered as follows. When I grow up, I would like to be. I'm thinking of becoming. I dream of being or becoming, for example, a doctor. My dream job is. Why would you choose a given job? Take the reasons provided below and add more personal reasons. A good salary is very important, of course. A friendly boss, that is extremely important too. If you do not have a friendly boss, we've seen the result with these workers whose working life is not encouraging at all. Flexible hours and good relations with workmates. What can we add here? Good relations with workmates. Maybe prospects, as we've seen. Possibilities for getting promotions, maybe. A good experience. Being experienced in your job after some time and being able to know more about the business, and maybe start your own business and become an entrepreneur. Which is the most important reason? So this depends on your own opinion. How would you like your boss to be? Definitely you need and you should have a friendly boss. Otherwise he or she will make your work harder, and your life too, as a result. If you were a boss, how would you behave with your staff? Let's copy paste that. We need to see how we can answer that. So if you were a boss, how would you behave with your staff? So let's start with if you were. Were is the verb to be. So if you were a boss, the sentence starts with if, so it is conditional. This is the conditional. So how would you imagine you were a boss? Suppose you were a boss. How would you behave with your staff? So to answer the following sentence, this type of sentence usually comes as a question in the end of the reading comprehension, asking you about your own opinion, or asking you to react to the story in the text in the exam. So you may answer it as follows. So if I, this is the verb to be, so we're going to see if I was, but not in this case. If the verb is to be, we usually use were with all. We usually use were with all personal pronouns. Whatever the personal pronoun is, we usually use were. If I were a boss, part two. which is, this is the if clause. This is the if clause because we have if in it, and we use the simple past in it in this type of the conditional. And part two, we're going to use would again in the answer. So there it is. I would. This is the main clause. I would. And then would is a modal verb. So after that, we are going to add a verb in the infinitive form. We already have the verb here, which is behave. So I would behave, for example, in a friendly way, or in a good way, in a friendly way, in a professional way with my employees, workers or employees, so that the work environment or atmosphere in the company is helpful and makes the company, for example, successful. This is one way to answer that. But what I want to focus on more is whenever this is the third type of the conditional. In type 1, you have simple present here and simple present here. In part 1, part 2, simple present, simple present. Part 2, as in, if you put water on a kettle on fire, put, it evaporates, or it boils. So simple present, simple present. Type 2, we have simple present and then the future. If you work hard, you will succeed. Type 3, which we have here, simple past and then would. For example, if I had money, I would donate. This means that I don't have money now. This is what we call the we use it to talk about things that are not possible now. If I had money, I would donate. This means that I don't have money now. Speaking of the unreal past, we use the fourth type, in which we have the past perfect here. If you had been careful, had been here, past perfect. And in part 2, we use could have or should have or would have plus past participle. If you had been careful, you could have avoided the accident. The accident took place and he was not careful, but if he had been more careful, he could have avoided the accident. I'll add these examples here. We have already seen that, but I'll add these examples here to remind you of these types of the conditional. This is the third type, in which we have the simple past here and would or would plus a verb here, as in I would behave. And if I were, you can use this expression in exams to answer. Usually I have such a question in the last question in reading comprehension to ask you about your own opinion, what you would do in certain situations, and how you would react to the story in the or the characters in the text. I think that is the last thing here in this lesson. Any questions? You got the Telegram group, and you can ask if you have any other questions. Thank you, and see you maybe in